So we... Yeah. Mine shot. Mine? I am. Well, we have just watched the top 14 final, which means we have just finished watching that ludicrous try to finish the game, which... I mean, does it sum it up for Bordeaux? Does it sum it up for Toulouse? It sums up the game entirely, doesn't it? It certainly sums up the second half in terms of just how one way it was.
Yeah, I can't think of seeing many games of rugby, many halves of rugby that one-sided. I mean, Toulouse were pretty immaculate in everything they did. Their execution was amazing, so their handling was outstanding. So powerful, like Flamand at the fore.
Yeah.
But, well, we don't dwell on it, but Bordeaux were dreadful.
They were poor.
The number of the kind of unforced errors, the missing touch, missing tackles, dropping balls under no pressure, and they just got absolutely roasted every time they did it. Someone check in on poor old Maxime Lucu, who was genuinely distraught at the end there.
I think like that last try just really summed it up. Like that, there was the outside chance of Bordeaux maybe getting the barest of consolations with a try in the corner, and literally as I was about to say, they'll probably knock it on here. The ball goes forward from Buros in the tackle, and you think Toulouse is just going to kick it off, and Malvaca, who basically played like Finn Russell all game, just decides, why not? And just when you're linking up, like Malvaca is linking up with Marchand, is just like that's just really taking the piss. And the way that Capozzo toyed with Penno at the end there was, it was just taking the piss, really, wasn't it? Like
with his food.
Do we think it was? Did Bordeaux just not? Was it kind of first final syndrome sort of thing? You see it a lot where a team that's very promising in the league and is capable of some great performances, and they have big statement wins, and you think, oh, this shows that they can do it when it matters. And then you see, I think back to when Chiefs win first and finals in the Premiership of Bath 2015, and Northampton have got to semis in the past. You kind of see it a lot. Was it that, or were they just really off the boil?
I think there's just a big gap in the quality of the two sides that it felt like. I mean, let's not take anything away from Toulouse, who were masterful throughout, weren't they? They pretty much, to a man, were close to perfection. I think we felt that Bordeaux, obviously it was a gamble, wasn't it, with Tamafuna and Jalibert, and I mean Jalibert was pretty much non-existent in the whole thing. Tamafuna struggled completely off the pace, and I think from there they never had any fluency, and some of the errors they were making were just not what you expect from players of that quality.
Passing behind them, dropping the ball, like Deporter. There was the try, the Ramos try, the second one in the corner where he kind of skips over. There was a couple of times in that move where, I mean, Marseille is blooming hot. I imagine end of June it's particularly warm and sweaty, and there was a few passes in that build-up from Toulouse where it looks like it kind of is about to slip off the fingers, and they kind of whisk it back up again. And I don't know, but it must have happened like 4 or 5 times in the build-up to that where it could have been spilt and they clung onto it. And I said to you, like, Bordeaux would have dropped that.
Yeah,
and it must be like a skill execution that they've practiced so much.
Well, they're the highest offloading team in the league by an absolute mile, aren't they? And it's clearly just so well drilled, so well practiced. They were brilliant, and I think it's one of those as well, isn't it, where the result of the game was, we said it was basically done and dusted at half time, with the try being ruled out, the Malvaca try being ruled out, kind of kept it in the balance a little bit, and there was 10 minutes where there wasn't too much, but essentially the game was pretty much done from about 55 minutes very comfortably. And I think when that happens, all those errors, like you're just on the back foot, you're just making mistake after mistake, and you can't can't do anything to arrest it. You know, we know how good that Bordeaux team can be, but I think when you're in that position against a team who are that on it, that powerful, that fast, it's just sort of a damage limitation exercise, which is wild for a final, and they unfortunately didn't limit the damage at all. Yeah, it was quite something.
Hard to find any positives for Bordeaux at all. 3 points in a final, even if you lose 9-3, isn't great. Lose 59-3 or whatever it was.
Yeah, I thought Buros had a few sparks. Look, mate, you know, I think all of the slight breaks at attacking positions pretty much all came through him. That's pretty much it. I mean, Luku tried pretty hard in the first half. I actually thought they looked marginally more fluid for a period of time when Jalabert went off and Abadi came on, which I think just talks to how injured Jalabert evidently was.
He looked pretty pissed off coming. He looked limping, and he looked just gritted teeth, angry. Ben Tamatuna was clearly knackered second half.
Yeah.
Like, he was, you know, bloke of that size, to be in that much pain, you've got to be in a lot of pain.
Yeah.
The guys on commentary reckoned Dupont man of the match. I think we, perhaps with our Rosbif Anglo lens, would probably go Jack Willis, because just the impacts he had, both sides of the ball, the physicality, a couple of turnovers as well. That, you know, when you are playing against a team like Bordeaux, just nips any momentum in the bud, and it was just some of those turnovers were just so sharp. I think at one point you were kind of just said perfection, like that.
Perfect turnover. Yeah, I think I'd give it to Willis. Not Lee. I mean, don't get me wrong, Dupont was freakishly good throughout, as he always is. But I think Willis's performance in the first half, when the game wasn't done and dusted, went a long way to them getting out for that big lead. So yeah, up Brits for me.
Yeah, I think, and we'll. You've got a train to catch. You're playing cricket tomorrow. I've got 1.5 bottles of Languedoc wine to get through for the rest of this evening. We will obviously be going into it in a bit more detail on the podcast this week, hoping to get a guest on to run through it as well. But I think the discussion is going to be, is this the best club team of all time sort of stuff. I think it's the game itself was one-way traffic, and it's trying to place this Toulouse team, and where did Bordeaux go from here, sort of thing, and what happens for the league next, and what happens with both sides next, because it was just so one-sided. But yeah, what a treat to watch that team in full flow when the shackles are fully off. End of the season, you see them celebrating at the end, and they're, you know, like Tony D laughing like a child at that final try is just the joy that team has brought to so many people this year. Some of the quality of play has just been stunning, beautiful rugby. It is, they're magical.
Unless you play for Bordeaux.
Unless you're Maxime Luku crying into the turf for 5 minutes straight at the end of the game.
Poor Maxime. He'll be back.
But yeah, thanks for watching, and this will stay up on the YouTube, so be there to kind of see our post-match thoughts. But obviously listen to the podcast, which will be out early next week, hopefully. We're hoping to record on Sunday, and follow us on socials. We'll try and repost some of the best celebrations. I imagine Joe Takori will steal a corner flag. Who knows what else might get stolen along the way. But what a performance from Toulouse. Kind of made a mockery of this being the two best teams in French rugby. This was just, there's one team, 23rd, Brennus, for them, extends their record to 9 clear of Stade Toulousain. So what a team. But thanks very much for being with us. Cheers, Rich. Enjoy your cricket tomorrow.
Thank you for the charcuterie.
We had quite a lot of charcuterie.
I feel quite dry.
I feel very salty. Not as salty as Maxime Luku. Or Yannick Brew.
Oh, God.
Au revoir.
Au revoir. Oh, Yannick Brew, I'd forgotten about him. He's going to be fucking...